Michael, it's an entertainment podcast, and it's a conversation for entertainment purposes. And the topic came up, and we were having a good time, and people seemed to enjoy it. So go fuck yourself.
Real firm. He's the realest.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real Firm podcast. Thank you for tuning in. It's just me this time, your boy, Real Firm. And since it's a solo one, I got a special fun thing to dive into today because if you saw the last podcast episode, I took a nice clip from the Taylor Swift Drake mini debate that naturally arose in the discussion with me and Rockstar Life, and it had some interesting traction on Instagram. So I thought that'd be interesting to talk about. But before we get into that, thank you for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up if you're watching. Leave a comment. If you're listening, thank you for listening. Keep on listening. And if you're new, welcome. And if you don't mind, hit those reviews and rates wherever platforms you can do that on. So we're going to get into some talking about the cesspool of internet commenting, specifically on the on the short form media comments. It's funny because it used to be before Instagram and TikTok got really big. It was always you'd always refer to as like, oh, the YouTube comment. Don't look at the YouTube comments. And of course, that's still kind of true. But since YouTube is a lot more directed now, unless you're making like super viral stuff that will get to people that have never seen what you do before. Yeah, so now it's like Instagram, the short form, flipping through things, seeing things you haven't seen, seeing people you haven't seen before, talking about things that are that they're interested in, and in particular, very strong feelings about, such as Taylor Swift and Drake and the stans of Drake, the Swifties. What are they called? The Drakies, the Drakesters? I don't know, but yeah, it's a fun time. It's the first clip that got any significant track. I think it's the clip that has the most podcast clip that has the most traction ever. But the last one that had a similar situation was when we made, which wasn't even a debate between me and Rockstar Life. It was just we were agreeing about Anthony Fantano's super criticalness of falling in reverse and whatnot, and mostly people were just all agreeing with it. It doesn't matter anyway. So it's an interesting topic for me. It's one of the many reasons why I just really don't like going on Instagram is a whole thing, but that's a story for another time. Psychological complications in my mind, but the comment thing is hilarious because they get served to all these people if it gets the traction. Now I knew it would. This is why I clipped it, because I'm like, okay, we didn't even script. We weren't like, all right, well, let's debate Taylor. Which maybe now we should start doing artist debates to get more views. So, but yeah, that's what I clipped this little debate, a very small portion of this debate we were having, where I brought up that Drake was a good example of someone in hip hop that doesn't need the musical, classically talented musician qualities to become famous in music. And I didn't mean any disrespect to him. I respect anyone that makes it in the music industry. It's a rough world, and he's a very creative, excellent artist. No, didn't mean to disrespect him at all, but it did come across a little bit like that maybe. And then Rockstar Life was trying to defend him, but I think it started off where we were like, I think I was Taylor Swift yeah, that's right. It started off Taylor Swift Rockstar Life made a comment, and I don't want to rehash it all because if you watched it, then you know. But it was yeah, I was like, Taylor Swift's definitely more popular than Drake, and then we had this whole debate. So I clip when I'm making the clips, I'm like, this is gonna get views, and it's gonna get a lot of comments, and yeah. And again, they don't. Of course, they bother me on a level, just a general like, oh, these people exist, but not that all the comments are. Most of the comments are fine. They're just like making points, but some people just love to just leave shitty things. So I'm going to read some fun, mean comments or aggressive, highly critical of us and whatnot. So that'll be a good time. Also, speaking of Instagram, I've made a new Instagram. If you're an Instagram user, if not, God bless you. You should probably stay off it unless you're trying to promote a entertainment platform. But yeah, I made a new Instagram at Real Firm Podcast. I'm gonna eventually start posting the clips for that on the new Instagram page, so it doesn't get muddled up with the upcoming artist radio music submission community that I have going on with the Real Firm Audio page. So go follow that one now. I don't know when I'm gonna officially transition the clips over to there, the new clips that come out, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, back to the topic at hand. Comments are. I wish I could just have the freedom that Joe Rogan has a great way of going about it. He always says he just never reads any comments, and he has that liberty because he's so incredibly popular that it doesn't matter. He doesn't have to engage with any fans in the internet space, which is very lucky of him. But for me, I kind of have to at least see what's going on. Most of the time, so in this case, they slowly started coming in. And I was like, okay, I'll like a few, respond to a few. And then when it started getting a lot more, I was like, all right, I'm checking out. I'm not going to really look at them anymore. They can fight amongst each other. So it's an interesting, it's a good sign, you know? It's, this is what I signed up for. So it is good. But the negative side is the internet comments are the most debased form of human verbal communication ever in the history of humans. There's no, it's mostly anonymous for the most, it can be. There's no feelings attached to the words. You can't feel out what that. Most people are just nasty. They don't have any respect in the way and I get it. I'm not trying to like, hey guys, stop doing that. It's gonna happen. I get it. It's funny to point it out. Fun observations. Yeah, it's and then the other problem with clips, and most people are watching just the clips because I get it, they don't have time to watch the whole podcast, or they're not interested enough to watch the whole podcast, which is fine. But that leaves out a huge the context is completely lost. I tried it. You have to keep the clips short, so when I craft them, edit them, I try to get the most context involved so that it makes sense, but ultimately you're not seeing the full back and forth. You're just seeing like what I'm, clipping together, which also leads to a lot of misunderstandings of what we were talking about. So yeah, that's fun. So I'm gonna read some of those. And I'll have a good time with that. I think there was something else I wanted to talk about. Maybe not. I think that was just generally how ridiculous internet comments are. I rarely leave. Whenever I leave comments, it's either I'm supporting. When I get in Instagram, I try to get in and get out as fast as I can to do what I was there to do, to post or whatever. And then if I see like the first couple things that pop up, if they're my friends or support or whatever, I'll hit like. And if someone sends me something, I'll leave a comment, all that, just a quick like emoji comment or something, because I'm not even going to try to explain myself. To me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to write an essay to fully, because I have a complex of being misunderstood and having to over explain myself. So there's that. But most humans are not like that. Most internet users are not like that, apparently. They just burst out whatever comes to their mind to chime in. So it's a fun time. But shout out to the Swifties and the Drakesters and the podcast critics. So I'm gonna pull up the stats here. So it didn't go viral, but relative to the podcast clips that we put out, and I don't put out that many. Probably won't put out one for this because it's just me talking. But who knows? Yeah, and Instagram, and I do it on TikTok too. TikTok is where it goes off more, but Instagram really hit it with this one. Right now it's 1,735 views, 47 likes, 32 comments. So a lot more comments than likes, which, close to the ratio there is interesting. 9 shares, 3 favorites. So it's a well performing clip here. Reached 1,600 account. Right. Okay. And then the 207 of them are followers. 1,448 were non-followers. And I don't think I converted many into followers from that. So, yeah, I don't want to go through all the analytics details. Let's get to the comments here. There's a couple of fun ones. And on TikTok, there is another fun one I gotta see. But, Rockstar Life was trying to die on the hill that Drake was more popular than Taylor Swift, which I think is just statistically wrong. It's up for debate. I don't know, but it seems like most people agreed with me. And again, that was a friendly conversation. We weren't really fighting. I was egging it on because I knew it was good content. But it was funny that he was willing to he was like, oh no, 100% Drake's more popular. So I'm like, all right, well, let's explore this a little bit. And then it transitioned into the musical talent thing. So a lot of people, AZBug, shout out to AZBug, who is a very interesting, talented artist. Made a great comment here. Taylor Swift is more famous. She literally changed the NFL. She has her own economy, essentially, at this point. It's insane. 22 likes on that comment. Taylor's more talented. Drake is more famous. Okay. There was some... Taylor is hands down more known. Yeah, yep. Drake also steals lyrics and flows. I know a lot of it, so there's a little conjecture there. Taylor's bigger than Drake. Here's a mean comment. Proof not everyone needs a podcast. I thought that was funny. I actually responded to that with the wacky face. Sure. Yeah, whatever. I mean, there's definitely a lot of people that shouldn't, yeah. I get it, but I'm doing it and I'm having a good time, so whatever. Taylor Swift's 100% more known. I made Drake and Taylor famous. Okay, random. Just sometimes you get random, make no sense people. There is no debate. I'm a fan of both, but Taylor is clearly more influential and famous. She is at her peak of her career in the midst of a billion-dollar world tour. Exactly. Swift is definitely more famous. See, now I didn't really mean to read all the comments, but I kind of just started. I'm not trying to hammer down on Rockstar Life's opinion, although there is an overwhelming agreement with me in there. And then, so here's a real funny one. Don Quixote, which I forget, it's I don't know if it's an actor or a character. He's talking about me. Because some mustachioed person. If I can find a picture, I'll put him up. Maybe he looks. I probably should have the phone in the frame. Probably looks like me. We'll see. Don Quijote, whatever, changed the argument midway from most popular to more musically talented. Again, the context, he didn't, that was just the clip because it was like a 10-minute discussion, and I wanted to include both of those. Maybe I should have made two different clips, one about the more famous, one about the more musically talented, but I don't know. So, fun times, critical, fun times. Drake has been going to the NBA for years and nothing happened. Some of these I haven't even seen yet. In my country, most people know Drake because of the memes, and most people know Taylor because of her songs, and I'm not even a Swiftie. There are levels to this. Everyone's got their opinion, and everyone seems very confident in it. Didn't Drake essentially say in his own song that she's bigger than him and he won't put out an album at the same time as her? That might be true. Textured threads. No one is lining up in thousands outside stadiums around the world just to listen because they can't get tickets to any sold-out shows, G, FT, or Drake. I'm not sure what show. GFT, get fuck the fuck. I don't know. And then here's another hate one. Those hats are shameful. What? What? I don't. I mean, obviously, I'm wearing this hat in this clip, but what hat is Rockstar Life wearing that is shameful? Let me see here. Oh, he's got the backward. That's right, the backwards. Okay, so just shitting on our choice of hats. Always a good time. Let's see if there's any more. There's no debate. I'm a fan of both Taylor. But Taylor is clearly more influential and famous. Swift is definitely more famous. Taylor's 100% more known. Yeah. So, pretty much, most people, not too many people, weighing in on the part of the, talent, the musical talent part, which is up for debate, and that's kind of whatever. I don't, feel like I'm disrespecting Drake by saying that, but I do have a belief system of people being born more musically inclined than others. I think that's just fact. There's a reason why some people are tone deaf and whatnot. Not that I'm saying Drake is, but he might be. I don't know. But his songs sound good, so he gets it out fine. So yeah, that's it's an interesting world here in the Instagram clip things. And the other thing is, I bet, of course, at the end, I put tune into the full episode to hear the full conversation because you're not getting the full context. Of course, no one is. They're swiping to the next clip to see the next person they're going to weigh their opinions in. So that's a fun time. Yeah, so I wonder if people probably weren't, there was not comments about the musical talent. No one was weighing in on the musical talent. Well, some of them were, but most of them, maybe because halfway through it was that was introduced, and I would guess people watch for like 10 seconds, like, oh, they're talking about who's famous, stop watching, comment, move to the next, because of the attention spans of today, and especially the people that are using Instagram Reels, and not just specifically people who are commenting on Instagram Reels are definitely in that category. Not everyone, of course, not all. Now let me go to the TikTok one and see if there was. Okay, so this one got 813 views. Yeah, it reached on Instagram more, but 48 likes, 18 comments. My friend Nick Gamble, shout out to him. Taylor is the most popular person in the world, music aside. I was like, there it is. Drake has black and white fans. Taylor Swift is mainly white fans. It's not close. I put crying laughing emojis because that's just ridiculous. I don't know if that was supposed to be a joke or what. Also, Swift doesn't write most of her music. So musically, that's just saying, I think she writes a lot. I don't know. These are things I do not know. Yeah, I get a lot of these aren't. I'm trying to find the more hateful, critical ones. I think I covered most of them. Luckily, we didn't get too many. Let's see if there's any more. Most of these people are just weighing in on the conversation. She was just in Tokyo, dead, but facts are facts, and she is winning. Go look at their monthly listener. Here's a good hate one. Go look at their monthly listeners on Spotify, and this whole dumb conversation never had to happen. Well, Michael, it's an entertainment podcast, and it's a conversation for entertainment purposes, and the topic came up, and we were having a good time, and people seemed to enjoy it, so go fuck yourself. Good times. Any other hate comments? Let's see. Drake makes better songs. Taylor Swift is better pure musical talent. There's someone weighing in on the talents. Wouldn't listen to either willingly. That's funny. Taylor has a large female audience, but Drake's got both. Yeah. Saying Taylor is more... here's funny. Saying Taylor is more popular is wild. Taylor doesn't know you, bro. Of course. And then someone replied to that. She is easily 10 times more popular. There's a reason he don't do any true stadium shows, tours. This doesn't mean much in the grand scheme of this discussion, but by Spotify metrics, Taylor is about... okay, there's a respectable little way in there. Saying one pop artist is better than the other is like saying blue M&Ms taste different than yellow M&Ms. No shit. And I actually responded to this. I agree. It started mainly about who has a larger reach, which evolved into a musical... yeah. And then someone... they both make trash music. So, ultimately, it's an interesting experience. One of my first... into the getting blown out there for many people that have never seen or heard of me or Rockstar Life before weighing in on us. And I thought it'd be fun to come on here and do a quick solo pod about it, since we couldn't get together for recording this past week. Yeah, I guess that's about it. We're at 20 minutes here. So it's funny, I run out of solo. I gotta work on my breath work for solo podcasts. I don't take breaks talking. I guess most people doing solo podcasts are also reacting to stuff to take a break. I feel like I need to keep filling the air, but filling the air with taking breaths. Anyway, yeah, that'll sum it up. So, I originally went into this thinking I was going to be responding mostly to mean comments, but I guess it was just more of a summarization of an experience and an analysis of what is happening in the world, in the internet. It's just going to get worse. I just think the internet's always been this way since anonymous comments, short, quick bursts of texts, which I will say again, the most poor version of human communication possible, verbal at least, written, linguistic communication. Of course, there's others which lack in there, like body language and tone of voice. And just the hate, the amount of frustration and hate that's built up in people that makes them want to... I just never understood wanting to go around and comment on people's stuff, especially when it's a lot of people, like no one's going to see. I don't know. But please leave a comment yourself. I'd love to hear from you, especially since this podcast is primarily enjoyed by a number you could probably count on 2 hands, maybe 4 hands at sometimes. So I appreciate everyone that tunes in, especially for the whole thing. Thank you so much. We're going to keep it going. And we ain't never going to stop. That's a shout out to William Montgomery from the Kill Tony comedian. If you know, you know. So yeah, hopefully next week I'll have, I'm trying to get, certain guests will be coming through, and some interviews I might put on the main channel just for extra exposure, because they're new they are new artists or artists specifically and new to the community. I want them to get I want it to be as useful to them as possible. So putting it on the main channel. But here on the Real Firm podcast channel, either way, if you're on audio, it won't matter. I'll be putting it up there, but we'll see. Maybe I'll upload them to both channels. I don't know, but you'll see it next week. Whatever happens, I don't know yet because it's not planned. This is being recorded less than 24 hours before it will be released. So, thank you once again for tuning in. Peace and love. Talk to you next time. See you next time. Adios. Arrivederci. I'm Italian. What am I doing?